I'd like to say shalom, giving all praises to Yahawashi. Also give a double honor to the elders of GMS and honor to the Akim, and peace and blessings to the brothers and sisters that listen, hopeful elect. And I just did a video on where you go when you die, you return to the spiritual realm. Also want to do a follow-up video now to the power of the Most High through His Son, Yahawah, Yahawashi, on reincarnation. Okay, which we know reincarnation, re means again, and incarnate means the flesh. Okay, re-entering the flesh. So when you go to the spiritual realm, you come back down on the planet Earth, and this is where your judgment, okay, this is where your judgment is carried out, is on the planet Earth, man. Okay, people believe that reincarnation is a heathenistic doctrine that solely belongs to the Hindus. No, the Hindus got it mixed up. Okay, they believe that you could come back as any organism. Okay, nah, if you're an Israelite man, you come back within that nation through that seed. Okay, because that's where the spirit dwells at, man. That's where the Most High send that spirit into that seed, and that man plants that seed in a woman, and you become a full-born Israelite, man. Okay, if you're a female, you come back as a female. If you're a male, you come back as a male. All right. If you were a prophet in your past life, you fulfill your same lot. All right. And I'm going to get some scriptures proving that to the power of Yahawah, Yahawashi, man. All right. Let's get it. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. That's what Solomon said. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Let me go to Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 first. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that had been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Scripture said there's nothing new under the sun, not even you. Okay, there's nothing new under the sun, man. Everything has been already. Okay, everything is recycled, man, because it's the same spirits all over again. Okay, and to prove that, we keep reading. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us. See? So even newborn babies, they're not new. Okay, they're created already, man. There's nothing new, man. Verse 11, there's no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So the scripture says there's no remembrance of former things. So when you come back on the planet Earth, you're totally unaware of your past life, man. Okay? Because the Most High hides that from your memory to hide pride from man. To prove that, the main example, the main reincarnation example in the scriptures is John the Baptist. Okay, which we know that was the prophet Elijah. I'm going to get the scriptures on it. And to prove that there was no remembrance of former things, and our people knew that the prophets always came back, let's get John the first chapter. John chapter 1. Verse 19. And this is the record of John. John the Baptist. When the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art thou? They asked him, who are you? Okay, because we know he baptized, he dwelt in the wilderness. Okay, he was the forerunner of the Messiah. But let's read on. And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elijah? So Elijah got beamed up into heaven way before John the Baptist came on the scene. So why would they ask him, are you Elijah? When Elijah got transfigured into the chariots, man. Why would they ask him that? Because they knew the prophecy. I'm going to get that in a minute. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elijah? And he said, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he answered, no. So they asked him, are you Elijah? And he said, I am not. Well, how come he didn't know he was Elijah? Because we just read in the book of Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, that there's no remembrance of former things. We're going to keep reading. Okay, so that was the first precept. We get to the actual account of Malachi going into Elijah coming back on the planet Earth. The Pharisees and the Levites and the priests understood that. Before the Messiah come, Elijah had to come back first. Let's read Malachi chapter 4 verse 5. This is the prophecy. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great day and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So the Most High said he was going to send you Elijah before the coming and great and dreadful day of the Lord, man. So Elijah had to come back in on the planet Earth. Okay? Which we know that was John the Baptist, man. All right? Let me, and the Lord broke it down. When you go to the, is it Mark chapter 9, verse 22? So our people understood the record and the scriptures, but they asked John the Baptist, are you Elijah? And he said, no, I'm not. Because the scripture says there's no remembrance of former things. So I'm going to get Mark chapter 9, verse 22. Let's see, it was Mark 9. Or it could be, let me go further up. It's Mark chapter 9, verse 11. Mark 9 and 11. And they asked him, the disciples asked the Lord, why say the scribes that Elijah must first come? So the disciples asked the Lord, why people keep saying that Elijah has to first come? We read it in book of Malachi, the 4th chapter. That was a prophecy. And he answered and told them, Elijah verily cometh first and restored all things. And how it is written of the Son of Man that he must suffer many things and be set as naught. But I say unto you that Elijah is indeed come, and they have done unto him whatsoever they listed, as is written of him. So the Lord told them that Elijah came. Okay? And basically, they ain't listened to Elijah, man. Okay? And they said that what? Elijah verily cometh and first restored all things. And who was that? We're going to read it. The Lord is going to further break this down. Matthew chapter 11, verse 14. So the Pharisees basically saying there's no way you could be the Messiah because Elijah has to first come. But the Lord said, listen, Elijah came, man. Okay? And pretty much they ain't listened to him, man. All right? Just like they ain't listened to Yahawashi. Let me read Matthew 11:14. It's the Lord speaking. Let me start from 13. For all the prophets in the law prophesied until John, which he was Elijah. He gonna break it down. And if he will receive it, so the Lord's saying, if you can receive it, because this is deep, this is meat right here, okay? He said, if he will receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. So he's saying that John the Baptist was Elijah, which was for to come. All right. But he that hath ears to hear, let him hear, man. Okay. If you have understanding, listen, man. Okay. So that's what he said. If you can receive it, because that's one of the deep mysteries of the scriptures is reincarnation, man. Okay. A lot of people, they don't believe in that. They believe in hell, which is a fable, but they don't understand reincarnation, man. All right. Because they don't have ears to hear. So Lord broke it down. If you can receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. But John the Baptist didn't know he was Elijah, because we read earlier, there's no remembrance of former things. All right. Mark chapter 6. We read another precept. chapter. Let's start from verse 14. Mark 6:14. And King Herod heard of him, Yahawashi, for his name was spread abroad, and he said that John the Baptist was risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him, Yahawashi. Others said that is Elijah. So people thought the Lord was Elijah. And others said that is a prophet or one of the prophets. See, so people knew the prophets came back over and over again, man. What are the prophets they talking about? The Isaiah, the Jeremiah, the Ezekiel, the Daniel, the Hosea, the Joel, the Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, on down. Okay, so people thought he was Elijah. Others thought that he was who? That he was one of the prophets coming back again. Okay, this is what we're reading in the scriptures right now. So people understood reincarnation in the scriptures, man. Okay, that's not no heathenistic doctrine, man. Okay, it's in the Bible. It's supported by the Bible. Okay, another thing people are misunderstanding. Let me get the scripture now. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27. So John the Baptist was a prophet. Elijah, the Lord broke it down. Okay, Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27. It says, and it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. Yeah, in this body, man. All right, is appointed you once to die, man. In this tabernacle. Even when you read 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, and then it says, you born again, then the judgment. Okay. So in this body, so it is appointed you once to die. You go back to the spiritual realm, then you come back down and you play out your judgment. We're going to read that further. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. It says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So this is the place of judgment on the planet Earth. I'm read it again. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So this is the place, man, where people are judged, man. And he said, and I said in mine heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there's a time for every purpose and for every work. So this is where you're judged. The righteous and the wicked is judged on the planet Earth under the sun. And we're going to get a scripture to prove that. John the 9th chapter. Okay. So the disciples asked, John chapter 9, verse 1. And as Yahawashi passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. So this man was born blind. Okay. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin? Did this man or his parents, that he was born blind? So now, let's read that again. It says, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin? This man or his parents, that he was born blind? So the disciples asked, did he sin or did his parents sin that he was born blind? Now, how could he have sinned if he was born that way? Meaning that he had to been here already, man. He had to do something wrong in his past life. When he died, the Most High sent his spirit back down on the planet Earth for him to be born blind, man. Nothing just happens by coincidence, man. Some people are born blind. Some people are born maimed. Okay. Some people born, babies grew up to be 3, 4, 5 years old. They brutally get put to death. Was that by accident? Absolutely not. Like Job said, who shall perish being innocent? So the disciples asked, did he sin or did his parents sin that he was born blind? Okay. But when you read further on, the Lord broke it down. Basically, he was born that way so the Son of Man could come and could what? Could show his power, man. Make the blind see. Okay. So the disciples, they understood that, man. And, this lesson could get long. I just want to, show the scriptures, explicitly, clearly showing reincarnation in scriptures. The prophets, like we read about John the Baptist, are reincarnated, man. Okay, all the men that was in King David's army, the soldiers and the captains and all the priests and the prophets that were back there, the house of David is back on the planet Earth, man, which makes up the 144,000. Okay, all those righteous men are back on the planet Earth. Okay, that's why the scripture says, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 32. It says, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So the spirits of the prophets, man, are subject to the prophets. Okay? So if you're a prophet in your past life, that same spirit is in you again. There's nothing new under the sun, man. Okay, you're not going to be a wicked 2/3 and come back as a righteous man. It doesn't go. The Most High deals with the same materials over and over again, man. Yeah, we all sinned in our past life. We constantly get judged. But the scripture says the Lord, the elect was preordained before the foundation of the world. So it was already set up that through each carnation, we'll get more and more perfect. And this is the last one, man. Okay? Now we're going to meet Yahawashi, man, Lord willing. And to prove that, so cut it out with this last scripture, Daniel the 12th chapter. The Lord speaking to Daniel. Daniel chapter 12 verse, let me start from verse 9. And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Okay, which the last days began 2,000 years ago when the Lord went back to the Most High. Right? And we know the Lord in Revelation the 5th chapter, he unsealed the book. I'm going to read on down. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand, the elect. And from the time that daily sacrifice shall be taken away, the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days. I'm going to read on down to the point. But go thou, this is what the Lord said to Daniel. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest. So the Lord telling him you're going to die in this day and time. But he said what? And stand in thy lot at the end of days, man. So the Lord told him you're going to rest in this day and time, but you're going to stand in your lot at the end of days. What was Daniel's lot? Daniel was a prophet. Specifically, he was a prophet that condemned ancient Babylon, man. Okay? Let them know that the writing was on the wall. All right. So he would stand in his lot in the end of days. So now he's back on the scene and he's condemning modern day Babylon. Daniel is back, man. Now, does he know he's the prophet Daniel? Absolutely not. Because John the Baptist didn't know he was Elijah. Because there's no remembrance of former things. So, all glory to Yahawashi. Hopefully brothers and sisters edified. With that, I'm going to say shalom.